everybody. Welcome to the Maybomb Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, John Cates. Glad to have John Chambers back with us. We're here to do our monthly market update. So thank you, John, for being here again.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
We look good today. We've got the...
I tell you, we dressed it up, didn't we?
We did. We really classed it up today.
You can always tell when we had a meeting before this. We look a little better, right?
That's right. For all those of you who have been listening just with audio, you might want to turn the camera on because we look pretty good today.
There you go.
But John, we're here to do our March monthly market update. Maybe start with just some big picture things that you're seeing, some trends or sort of what's changed from the last time we got together.
You know, I was thinking about that this morning, and I thought, we're going to come on the air, and the trends have not changed a whole lot as far as, inventory is still rising, but it's kind of leveled off. At least it's not rising as much. The prices are stable. Everything we talked about last month is pretty consistent. So I started thinking big picture. When you think about that, and we talk about these two markets, and we talk about Aiken and Augusta.
Yeah.
But I think within those two markets are a lot of what we call micro markets.
Right.
Depending on where you are, I mean, it can be different.
Yeah.
And I think when you look back, a few years when we were, I guess, what you'd call in a frenzy market, where it was just anything goes, wild, wild west, goes to the highest bidder.
Right.
And now we came through this part where we've been using words like balanced and normal and that type thing.
Yeah.
And I think now the word I kind of want to focus on is a more strategic market.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
More strategy.
Okay.
I just think that right now, as inventory is higher than normal, even though it's tapered off in the growth, new listings are kind of flattened out.
Yeah.
But I think as you look at the higher inventory, things are sitting maybe a little longer. I think there's more strategy with the seller. I think price and condition means more than it ever has.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be more strategic in those two things, making sure it shows good and making sure it's priced at fair market value.
Yeah.
More strategic in coming up with what that number is.
Right.
And then just taking a closer look at the market within the market, more of the individual neighborhoods.
That surrounding area.
Yeah. I think just there's got to be a lot more, again, strategy put into buyers and sellers both.
Yeah. I think one thing that I've seen continue is it seems that I think we haven't really put a term on it yet, but I think sort of what we'll call the middle to regular end of the luxury market, and I hate to call it regular, but things that are around $1 million, at least in West Augusta, Champions, and Aiken, seem to be selling really quickly. I was talking to Catherine Stone the other day, and she's had 3 or 4 that are all around that $1 million to $1.5 million. And it seems like they're buyers that in that right neighborhood where, there aren't houses for sale a lot of the time.
Yeah.
People are still pretty active and kind of waiting. Are you seeing some of that somebody's been focused on an area or a specific neighborhood and they're kind of ready to go if something comes up? Yeah.
And I think a lot of that's because in that higher price to what we call the luxury market, that buyer's typically not as influenced by the rates.
Sure.
For example.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially you get over into the Aiken market and it tends to be more of a lifestyle driven buyer in a lot of cases, not so much based on just affordability.
Right.
And so, right or wrong, to answer your question, yes, we're seeing the luxury market is going along well.
Yeah. What are you seeing? I know we've, since the last time we got together, we've got some conflict in the Middle East and gas prices have started to go up. What are you seeing in terms of, I guess, how does unpredictability and world events, how does that sort of normally impact, especially somebody that's looking to buy?
It's like we talked about with our leadership team yesterday. There's so many things like that going on in the world that we can't control, but they do affect our market.
Yeah.
I guess the best way to put it is I'm seeing that the serious buyers and the buyers with a little more urgency are still out there and still active.
Right.
But you're more what we could call, I guess, the casual buyer.
Who's not
all
as
of that's kind of filtered,
constrained by time. Yeah.
It's filtered them out some.
Okay.
But the more urgent ones and serious are still out there.
Right. Right. Yeah. That makes sense. And I guess what have we seen rates to? I know they've continued to go back up a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I feel like we lost a little bit of the momentum that we had on interest rates. What are you seeing?
Yeah, about the same. They have ticked up, largely I think to what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But again, I think we're at that spot right now where it's not enough to weed out the more urgent people, serious people, but it is affecting the people who are, not so urgent to buy.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. I mean, it's not rocket science. I mean, I guess we've all personally been in markets where we're going to buy and we may, let me just hold on a minute.
Let's wait off a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you seeing in new construction? Are you seeing anything different than the last time we talked? I mean, in terms of, are things still moving there? Have we started to see that, yes, that's still an attractive option to people?
It is very much in demand in our area, really in both Aiken and Augusta. Okay. A lot of that's because of our industry, we're attractive place to live. There's still that demand for new homes, but they're still selling. I mean, we just brag on the company a little bit. Last night at the SMC Awards, our company won top new home sales company. Part of our business got the top award, and I mean it's a lot of houses and a lot of volume, and so just so proud of our people that work so hard and make it happen. But the underlying thing there is a demand for it.
Yeah.
And excited about all the things we've got coming as a company.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of great projects.
You can speak to that.
Yeah. Sure. No, we've got a lot of great projects coming up. I know people are probably tired of me hearing this, but we have such a need. We have such a shortage for new homes in our area, and that's projected out even for the next 10 years. And I think that you have to plan for residential development pretty far in advance. And so that takes a lot of strategy, a lot of time planning for what's to come. And you've got to work with municipalities on roads and sewer and water and access to all those things. And I think when you have a team like ours that's always trying to think 5 to 10 years ahead, those projects start to make a lot of sense as that development or that growth comes. I was talking to somebody in Aiken, actually over the weekend, an old friend of mine that I went to high school with. His mom is on the planning and zoning for Aiken. And she, I hadn't seen her in a long time. And she's like, hey, we need to talk because, the city of Aiken, not everybody wants growth, but I think growth means different things. And if it's responsible growth and you have people that want to do it the right way and have neighborhoods that will last, and will be here for a long time, you can do it and you can do it responsibly. And what I told her and what I tell everybody else is we're a local company. Yeah. We have to live with what we build. Right. Like it's not like we're coming from out of town, develop a neighborhood, build a neighborhood, and then 10 years it looks awful and we're gone. Yeah. We have to live with it. And if we're doing it the right way, like you and I talk about, we should be getting the second sale, the third sale, the fourth sale. We're not just so focused on selling that house once and we're gone. Yeah. And if that's the purpose and motivation behind what we're doing in new construction, it matters to us what it looks like.
And I am so glad that our company, and that starts with you, has that mentality to care about what we're doing and care about our community. And to the folk, I can say to the folks this morning, I mean, what you went over in our sales meeting with Augusta Tamara and all that is being planned and talked about and put in action, man, that's exciting. And I think when you can make our area that kind of attractive place to live, I mean, that helps us all.
It does.
For what we're talking about.
Well, it absolutely does. And I think that we've said this so many times, I'm kind of sick of saying that where we live has so much potential. Yeah. It's time to turn that potential into reality. And I know that, those of you that listen to the podcast with Lauren Dallas, with Augusta tomorrow, it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting to have some big ideas and things that are going to make our community better. But no, that's exciting. And I think it's when you add in the component of what you're trying to develop. Right. One thing that's been interesting to me that I want to get your thoughts on is, growing up here, I think before our area got bigger, you really had people that would come and say, I want to live in Augusta. I want to live in North Augusta. I want to live in Aiken.
Yeah.
It seems like we have more buyers that are kind of open to the area, no matter where they work, maybe they work remotely, but it seems like our agents are working with more and more buyers that are looking, in several different cities in our area. Have you seen that?
Absolutely. And that's a good point and a good thing to discuss because, the world in general is shrinking, as we know. But yes, over my years in the real estate business, it used to be you either wanted to live in North Augusta or Evans. It was neither. I'm open to either, or Aiken.
Right.
But now there's so many good things to do in just 20 minutes driving. So, you're Aiken, you've got all that beautiful downtown activity and festivities. And North Augusta, you've got the ballpark. You can go watch a ball game. You can drive right across the river and have dinner at Frog Hollow, whatever. Yeah. And the way Evans is growing and with the golf courses, there's just, my brother just moved here from Jacksonville.
Okay. Yeah.
And he came with that mindset that, maybe North Augusta, but I like what's happening in Evans. Yeah. So I think the good news for all of us is that river is still a wall. Yeah. But it's kind of got a bridge now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
People are open to that. But to answer that question, I'm seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
Which I think is exciting to me.
It's very exciting. And I think it puts a burden on our agents to know more than just their own little area.
Absolutely.
Because if they've got people that they're riding around and saying, well, hey, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
I think is, Bobby Jones is accessible. I-20 is accessible with the Fort and SRS. You have people that are moving here from a place where they may have an hour commute anyway.
Sure.
So they're used to it. So a 20-minute commute where they're not sitting in traffic may be a lot more appealing to people from those areas, which I think is great. Talk a little bit about as we, I know we're starting the spring, a little bit. We've got, the flowers are starting to bloom. We've got the Masters just around the corner coming to town. What are you starting to see or what are your expectations, I guess, for the market as we move into the spring and into the summer?
Sure. And I think we've always had seasons we call the selling season that around here starts really 1st of March, but it really gets momentum right after Masters.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of slows down. Let's get Masters out of the way. Yeah. And then it kicks off. I think that's more and more defined now because we're not in that frenzy market. For a while, there weren't seasons. It was just selling.
Always.
Yeah. And so now, I think, again, starting right about Masters, you see it really tick up. In fact, I saw something the other day, or maybe it was a podcast. I can't remember. I heard or saw something the other day where, right now for those about the next 90 days is the peak time to put your home on the market. Okay. Yards looking good, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, as to answer the question, what can we expect coming? I think we're going to continue to see the little bit higher inventory. I think we're going to continue to see that 4-month supply of inventory and maybe stuff sitting a touch longer than we want to see it sit. But we got to, have that conversation with our sellers ahead of time so that they expect it. And I think you're going to see a little more opportunity for buyers to negotiate. And because we don't have to get into it now, but because of the industry changes and because of the market shifting a little bit. So that's why I use the word at the beginning, strategic. I think this is a strategic market for buyers, sellers, and agents. Yeah. And we as agents absolutely have to be able to navigate that.
Yeah. That's great. Now, I know you spend a good bit of time between our different offices, talking to agents, talking to people on their teams. What are the agents saying right now that you're talking to? Do they see what you're seeing, or are they seeing a steady or that kind of market, or what are they seeing?
Yeah, most of what I get from them. That's the real finger on the pulse is what they're seeing, and pretty much everything we've talked about there, I'm getting from them. So they feel that way. Last night we were at the Home Builders Association thing, and I talked to 3 or 4 of the local good builders. Yeah. And they were, how's business? Well, how's your business? Yeah. And nobody really just jumped up and down and said, it's phenomenal. But everybody was like, they were calm. It was like, you know what? It's okay. we're off to a decent start. We feel good about the future. So, I think barring some world event that we don't see coming, I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. It's just about, again, strategic and just hard work for us working to help our clients.
Yeah.
And we're going to be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. Well, one of the last things I wanted to ask you about, that I know we do, every so often, but tell me a little bit about, I was talking to somebody at our sales meeting earlier, and they said, my parents are maybe looking to move to Augusta. They're a little older. And they've been looking around, and they needed to hear about all these changes and things like that. What do you think we as a company and our agents can do to help us tell that story about our communities changing and growing and good things are on the way?
As far as the community in general or our industry?
I would say the community in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it starts with being informed.
Okay.
I mean, I just soaked up everything you said today.
Sure.
And I think us tapping into resources like you have tapped into, and then you communicate it to us, I think it's being informed, number one, and then being able to articulate that, to our buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Because I think we have to remember, again, affordability is always going to be a thing. But what people are really looking for is lifestyle.
Okay.
I mean, that's what, when you look at, again, we talked about SRP Park and man, what they're doing downtown and all of these things, that's what people are really, really looking for. I mean, again, my brother, he wanted to be close to Westlake Golf Course, because he spends a lot of time there. Right. They wanted a good daycare. Those are things that you have to find out what that individual buyer is looking for. And you have to be able to know it, number one, and articulate it, number two.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, John, we appreciate it as always. This has been great. This has been super informative. And going forward, we're going to continue to do this once a month just because, I feel like there are always little nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of this or that, whether it's luxury, talked about, new construction, development. Before we go, I did want you to just mention, what are the SMC Awards? I know you referenced that a little bit, but for those out there that don't know, what is that? Is it an annual thing?
Council, Stellar Awards. It's geared at new construction. Okay. It's the Home Builders Association.
Yep.
So you've got most all the builders are a member of it. Most of the real estate companies are a member of it. Okay. And it is their annual awards that are geared just towards new construction. And the neat thing is, it's fun. It's not just production, that's the big bulk of it, but there's things like the best entrance to a neighborhood.
Oh, that's great.
Which Bird Farm Estates got, our neighborhood got. So Bill Boatman, if you're listening, he designed that, I think. And it's a time when you've got all these different companies together and you're competing, but you're cheering each other on. And it's just it's a good time, and it recognizes new home agents from across our market, various companies that work so hard to make it happen.
Well, we have so many good builders here. I know we're partners with so many of them. They do a great job. And like we said, I mean, what you don't want is just a market that's dominated by national tract builders. I think our builders do a great job and partner with us on the development side to make something, again, like we talked about before, that lasts. That looks good, that's still attainable, that's still, affordable, not without a reach, but also whether it's green space or landscaping or the entrances, like you mentioned, having stuff that looks good.
Well, and it opens your eyes to the fact that, we're in our little world of sales.
Right.
But when you get into an event like that, where they're giving awards to the best closing attorney and the best heating and air company and all these vendors, it makes you realize that none of us can do what we do by ourselves.
That's a great point.
Before there's ever a house for us to sell, there's got to be one built.
Right.
And so on. And there's so many people and processes that go into that. So, I mean, it gives you an appreciation for people outside of your industry and outside of your little world.
It makes that community that makes it happen.
And agents co-op deals together. And I mean, it just is, it's kind of a reset to think, you know what, we're all in this together and we need each other to make it work.
Oh, that's great. That's so true. All right, John, thanks again.
Thank you, my brother.
Here, and we'll see you again next month.
You got it,
man.
All
right, thanks, man.
Yes.